Terrorism. The most famous word in the definition of the Middle East. Anger, bloodshed, and terror. If you were born in the West in a democratic and civilized country, you are definitely the luckiest person on earth. Because the chance of being born in a dictatorial and terrorist country is 1 in a million. Yes, 1 in a million. I and millions of people living in the Middle East have grown up with terrorism and dictatorship since childhood. Terrorism is like a snake that some people are attracted to and drunk on its power. Some people are afraid of it and run away, but eventually they become victims. Some others ignore it to live a happy and trouble-free life, but terrorism is always in front of their eyes. What is terrorism? Terrorism means either accept my word and surrender or I will destroy you. In other words, terrorism is the natural selection that selects special genes for survival. The first terrorist was born in Saudi Arabia 1,400 years ago. His name was Muhammad and he considered himself the prophet and representative of God on earth. At first, Muhammad attracted people with beautiful and audible words, and when he took power, blood flowed. Since then, this of blood has been flowing, and as long as there are followers of Muhammad, terrorism is alive. Until today, many things have been said about terror and terrorism, but its roots and foundations have never been mentioned. The story begins when someone decides to give up life and start spilling humans' blood. In this channel, we will talk briefly about terror and terrorism. So stay with us until the end of the video. Every day 2,700 people die due to terrorism and terrorist attacks. Children and women account for the most casualties in these attacks, because they are easy and accessible targets. The Muslim countries of the Middle East, especially the countries that cooperate with Iran, have the highest rate of terrorism statistics. Iran is considered as the heart of terrorism in the world, and if the head of the snake is not cut off, peace and security will not return to the Middle East and the world. Iran's political leaders have extraordinary power in persuading their forces to carry out terrorist operations. In addition, the oil and gas and natural resources in Iran are the best source for feeding and equipping terrorist forces in the region. All kinds of advanced missiles, military equipment, and bloodthirsty soldiers who are about to kill and be killed are the biggest threats to the world. In this channel, we will show you the real face of terrorism. As mentioned, the roots of this bloodlust and terrorism are in the religious teachings of Muslims. Now pay attention to this verse from the Holy Quran of Muslims. When you meet disbelievers, cut off their heads from their bodies. And after defeating them, take them prisoner. Then release them for money and gold. Until the war ends, and this is God's decree. And if God wanted, he would have taken revenge on them. But he wanted to test you against each other. And those who were killed in the way of God, their deeds will not be nullified. Surah Muhammad verse 4. This is the only one of the Quranic verses that refers to killing people of other religions. Many verses and chapters of the Quran have ordered the killing and bloodshed of humans, which we will mention in other videos. The Holy Bible of Muslims is taught in schools and universities, and they teach terror and terrorism in their childhood and adolescence. A person who grew up with hatred for other religions can easily kill and assassinate. But what to do? First, we should get acquainted with terrorism and the thoughts of terrorists, and then go to war with this 1,000-year-old thinking with the weapons of culture and civilization. This is a warning if Western civilization is indifferent to terrorism. Terrorism will become stronger and stronger, and will eventually conquer the world. As in the past, Muslims fought against Europe and Western civilization.